New York City, we back. The Big Apple, NY. The Knicks are back. Staten Mellow. This dedicated to my city, New York. Official kings in the court. Reach with a ball, a hard lesson gets taught. So bring your skills to the nearest playground. No clown around. Catch a helmet in a minute on a New York playground. The Big Apple's what they call it for short. And basketball is our sport. We play for keeps and never settle for sure. So bring your game when you come to my town. We snatching crowds. You get embarrassed on the court after you shook to the ground. You get respected when you prove you get down. So say the joke for the clowns. And NYC, we known to go a few rounds. This is a city where you're forced to go hard. You'll get booed out of Dodge and shown the door being the weakest on squads. Rucker Park and summer nights, they stay live. Brothers play for the pride and bragging rights on who's the king of NY. So grab the pill and prepare to go hard. Pick your 12-man squad. Orange and blue, better believe we go hard. This for my city, New York City where it's gritty. Yeah. For my city, never pretty. New York City, sing it with me. Yeah. For my city, New York City where it's gritty. NYC, for my city, never pretty. Yeah. New York City, sing it with me. New York City, sing it with me. Stills the great J. Remy, Knicks Talk Nation Radio, every Monday, 10 to 11. We got a lot to talk about in Knicks land today, man, because it's a lot going on in the world of New York Knicks land. And, I don't think it was a big surprise, but, we're going to get to it, in a minute. But before we start, man, J. Remy, what's good, my brother? How was your Thanksgiving, man? And how was your weekend overall, bro?
Man, everything was good, bro. I'm blessed. I had a good, chill Thanksgiving. Relaxed, watched some football, ate some good food. And then it's always weird going back to work on Black Friday, right? Like you feel like it was just a weekend when it was just one day, and then it was cool though, bro. I had a good weekend. You could always complain and about the little things here and there, but I always gotta remember that it could always be worse. And I'm just blessed to be here, and I look forward to these Monday nights, and I'm happy to be here with y'all.
That's a fact, man. Shout out to my brother Mike Ray. I see you. Word up, Mike just checked in with us, man. We got a lot to talk about today, man, because as you know, man, it was a big shakeup, man, in Knick land today. I think a lot of us saw it coming, but we didn't think it was going to happen this soon. But as far as my weekend, man, my weekend was great, man. The Thanksgiving was great, man. Bodied a couple of birds. They took a couple of oil baths, man, and everybody enjoyed the finished product when it was done, said and done. You know what I mean? But other than that, just getting to hang out with family, chilling with friends and stuff like that, man, it was great for me. You know what I mean? But let's get to what's going on right now. But before we do, Mike, man, what's up, my brother?
What's good, family? What's good, everybody? Listeners, viewers, brethrens. Happy holidays to y'all.
Happy holidays.
It was a good one for me, man. Out of town on family, snuck out of town real quick.
Yes, sir.
Down here in the land of red dirt and Chick-fil-A, and man, yeah. But it's a family show, so we'll keep it like that. Yeah, man. Nah, it was good, and the highlight. I mean, obviously, being with family is the highlight. Regardless of what your ethical or political stances on the day of the holiday, the premise of giving thanks and breaking bread or being with your loved ones, that never gets old. That's exempt of politics. That's exempt of ideology. That's exempt of ethics. That's all morale. That's all moral. Absolutely. And there's nothing like it. So the highlight of my weekend obviously was breaking bread with, my uncle and my aunt, my aunt's family primarily. But Saturday, brothers.
Yes, sir.
The day after Friday and the day before Sunday, I found myself 25 rows off center court.
Ooh.
Section 105, row X, seat 1. diagonal to the basket, so I don't have to turn my head 25 rows up from courtside at the State Farm Arena to watch the Atlanta Red Chickens think they was gonna do battle with my New York Knickerbockers.
Oh man. Yo.
And yeah, that was
Oh,
real. That was real.
Mike Wright held it down in the A, huh?
Yeah, he held it down
Mixtape
in
in
the A,
baby.
So you know what? Let's jump to that before we get to the Kemba Walker news, because obviously that's the elephant in the room, man. We're gonna talk about that. But let's just talk about the recap from that Hawks game, man. The young boys finally got to play, man, and they balled out, man. And I think that everything transpired after that performance in Atlanta. And Mike, you was there front row to see them young boys getting it in, man. What was your thoughts on how they played? Guys like Jericho Sims, Emmanuel quickly stepping up big time to go up against this Atlanta team. What was the biggest difference between Saturday's game and what we saw during the playoffs?
Let me say the bench has, well, first of all, let me say this. Most teams are one team. Your bench comes off the pine to spell your starters to hold whatever you got till your starters come back.
Absolutely.
This Knick team is an aberration to that, because what this Knick team fundamentally is it's the other way around.
Absolutely.
The best starting five that the Knicks have start coming in at about 6 minutes left in a quarter. That bench comes in, but that bench has a swag about them. Here's the difference, and I'm not knocking my man D Rose, but when the Knick bench came in, when you had Quickly at the 1, you had Grimes at the 2.
Yep.
Even the moments where they ran RJ at the 3 with Obi and Sims, I'm telling you, brothers, right now, if I wasn't there to see it with my own eyes, I'd have never believed it. The Hawks looked shook.
Wow.
And they came off the bench with a swag like, I don't know who you guys think y'all are. I don't know what happened last year, but let me tell y'all what's about to happen today. And then they just began to run. You saw Quickly. First of all, I slept. Quickly got some handles. He ain't Dave Edwards. He ain't Kenny.
That's a piece of Dave Edwards. Word.
But let me tell you right now, if you sleep and lean on one way, Quick is going to cross you and he's gone.
Yes.
And what happened in Atlanta was, number one, he showed Atlanta's Achilles heel. I give you a complete breakdown. He showed their Achilles heel. You want to beat Atlanta? You make Trae Young work. Right? There's no Reggie Bullocks in that second unit.
No.
So when that second unit was on the floor, primarily against anybody from that starting lineup from the Hawks, Trae had to D somebody. He couldn't go stand in the corner and stand in front of Reggie Bullock and make sure he didn't get the ball. Everybody there. He couldn't go to the 3 spot and D up RJ, because RJ's stronger than all the 2s in the league, some of the 3s, and can go blow for blow with a few 4s. Absolutely. Right? So horribly strong. Can get anywhere he wants with that left hand.
Absolutely.
Right? So he couldn't go there. And everywhere Trae Young went, Grimes was with him. Those steals, that was textbook slide your feet, tiptoes, wide stance, strong base. He went around screens. He went over screens. There was a period in time where if you saw the body language of the Hawks, they were like, who is this kid? And then Obi Toppin is outrunning dudes from baseline to baseline. He's passing dudes who were at the free throw line extended in half court. Absolutely. So Atlanta had nothing for that. And quickly got in Lou Will, and Lou Will couldn't hit the side of a barn, right? And then you have Bogdanovich hurt himself. Kevin Huerter had nothing. The other young boy is out till February. Like, it was Yo, when that second unit came in,
Yeah.
and then they went back to that first unit, and my man Julius started to play more point guard out the pinch post,
Ah,
almost playing a triangle type position, and started punching it out to dudes.
yeah.
Yo, I'm telling you, with Burks right there and Burks is D'ing up dudes. Yo, I'm telling you right now, if
Wow.
you by the time you got to the end of the third, which has been a Knicks Achilles heel, you knew today was inevitable. The third quarter made today inevitable. You knew it was
Remy, what did you see?
Let me say this. I I agree with what Mike Ray said about how quickly he looked.
Uh,
I agree with even with Grimes defensively.
yeah.
He I my eyes got raised a little bit. I'm like, oh shit, my boy, he's going it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But my biggest takeaway from that game was the same takeaway I had from the LA game, and the difference in those games and the Phoenix games, which was when Thibodeau goes 8-9 deep versus 13-14 deep, there's a difference in chemistry. Like Mike Ray just talked about, the best lineup being in the game, 6 minutes left in the first quarter, and him, putting that little bit extra salt in the pot. You know what I'm saying? And then sprinkling the garlic in there, and then the black pepper. It happens at a certain point in the game where you see it like, oh, okay, let them play the whole game. And like you said, no knock to D Rose, but at the end of the day, I know that you see a difference in chemistry in them. When they're playing, I don't necessarily agree with what Mike Ray said about with Randall in that like triangle kind of mode, because Alec Burks is ball. He balled. That helped alleviate what Randall didn't do. Especially in that Atlanta game. I don't think he hit a single 3-pointer in that game. But thank God he didn't take a lot either, too. So it was an interesting game. It was an interesting 3-game run. We talked about it last week. The upcoming schedule is not going to be easy. But I think if they can match that chemistry they had on Saturday, I think we have I think we have a lot to look forward to in the next couple of games.
It's interesting, man, because one of the biggest things that I see that played a major role in Saturday's game in comparison to the whole playoffs against Atlanta, the fact that we had Mitchell Robinson in the middle, he made a big difference. And when you see Mitch stand up against a guy like Clint Capella, you look at Mitch like, damn, he really did put on some size, because he made Capella look very small. Also, when Jericho Sims got in the game, you seen a solid young man holding his own on the offensive and the defensive end. He crashed the boards on the defense. He was blocking shots on the defensive end, and he was catching those alley-oops every chance that he got. He just needs to polish his down low game a little bit more, because he was getting the ball close to the basket, but he was like, yeah, oh shit, I got the ball. He didn't know what the hell to do when he got it there, but
he looked shocked a little bit, right?
Yeah, he was like, oh my God, I got the ball. It's close to the basket. What am I going to do? But that was the biggest thing that stood out to me, and it just made me look and say, damn, man, if we had some real size last year, we'd have probably beat the Hawks. You know what I mean? Even though, we had Burke last year. Burks did well in the series. Julius didn't do well in the series, just like he didn't do well in this game. I think he finished with what, 8 points against Atlanta?
9. He had 9.
9 points?
8 points, 3 for 14 from the field, and 0 for 3 from 3. Yeah, he didn't hit a single 3-pointer. I knew he did.
Yeah. His energy was off too, because I think that he felt like he wasn't really in the flow of the game, and he kind of just, his body language sucked. You know what I mean? But the other guys, and the young boys in particular, stepped their game up, man. Grimes stepped his game up. You see, quickly had 11 points in 9 minutes. You know what I mean? He was running the floor, like Mike said, catching alley-oops. He was knocking down the open shot if he got it. And it just looks like the team is slowly but surely starting to get an identity of not Julius Randle, ISO-centric, but more so of a motion offense where guys can move and they can score without dominating the ball. And I like what I saw, man. I just hope that they could sustain it. And I hope that, quickly improves and adds on to what he did on Saturday, because now teams are going to start preparing for him. And it's a difference when teams start to really prepare for you than you just getting thrown into the lineup.
Right.
You're busy. You know what I mean? So,
and the minutes, like you're looking at the minutes, like Stills. That's one thing I did notice, and you pointed it out last week. The whole Burks thing, the difference of playing Burks more, and
yes,
what a decision that has turned out to be. He's playing Burks more.
yes,
Burks is producing more. I think I don't think he went below 20 minutes in any of the last 3 games. No, he was above 20 minutes in all the last 3 games. 12 points. And then when he 23 points when he started against the 11 points, he's contributing. So that popped up into my head at the end of that Atlanta game. I was like, oh shit, Steele's brought up Burks, and I knocked you for it too.
Yeah.
But that was you called that out, bro, and he's been a good contributor.
And Obi again showed the importance of being versatile in this league. He scored 11 points. Positionless basketball. He doesn't need to have the ball in his hand to be effective. As long as he can move, run the floor, finish on breaks, catch the alley-oop, he'll eat all day. There's nothing you can really game plan for that unless you're going to have somebody that's going to stick to him like white on rice, and that's not going to happen. He reminded me a lot of Sean Marion that game.
Man, you nailed that. That's exactly who you reminded me of. It was he was like a 2021 version of the Matrix.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing.
And what's interesting is like not only his athleticism, like the way he could jump out of the gym and just be a highlight reel when he wants to, but Mike Ray pointed it out. He's stronger than every two. He's going to stress out a whole lot of threes, and he's going to be annoying to a nice handful of forwards, bro. Like positionless basketball, man.
Like, positionless basketball.
It's the new wave, and if you can utilize him right, which I still don't think Thibodeau is, a little bit here, a little bit there, but not enough. It can make a big difference, bro. Big difference.
So now that the young boys done balled out, you think that Tibbs is gonna soften his stance on playing young players now? Because clearly we needed that shot in the arm, man. They looked like they was ready, and they made an immediate impact when they got in the game. Jericho Sims, especially on the defensive end. You know what I mean? As raw as he is, he looked like a man amongst boys. 23 years old. Mm-hmm. He was one of the oldest guys on the floor.
He's a baby. Y'all know how I feel about Jericho Sims, bro. Y'all know that from Summer League, bro.
Ike was talking about it from the Summer League when he saw him. You know what I mean?
Jumped out the gym.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited. And because right now, our biggest problem is staying healthy. All of our big men were hurt, except for the Mitchell Robinson. But Noel is out. Taj Gibson was out. We need these guys to start stepping up to the plate, man, and making those minutes count. And I think that it's time to unleash these guys, man. I mean, we might as well discuss the elephant in the room now, because obviously Kemba Walker was, I guess they're using him as a scapegoat, because I really don't think that he is as bad as people are making it out to see. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this whole move by Tibbs to move him not only out of the starting lineup, but out of the rotation altogether. I think that it's unwarranted, but let me hear what you guys got to say.
Ram?
Go ahead, Mike.
All right. I look at it this way. My honest opinion is that the most amicable resolution would have been to give my brother the Alfred Payton treatment. You give him a good 2 to 4 minutes every quarter. If he ain't cooking, come have a seat.
Damn.
This way you don't have your second unit coming from 11, 14, 17 points down every time they come in the game. That to me would have been the most amicable decision.
Okay.
Honestly speaking, Tibbs is not going to break up that second unit with Quickly and Rose and Toppin. So therefore, you're not gonna run three little tiny dudes out there in a second unit. If Kemba don't listen, bro, if Kemba don't give you nothing in the starting lineup, what makes you think his defense gonna get any better coming off the pine? So therefore, it is you either start him or you make him the next Theo Pinson. Like unfortunately, there's no in between in this. So, and what compounds it is that by D Rose being hurt and you having to put in a dude like a Grimes, you having to see what a Grimes quickly backcourt looks like. The moment wasn't too big for him. So now Tibbs being a trust kind of guy, I put this kid in a pressure cooker situation. Don't think that wasn't a pressure cooker situation.
Oh, it absolutely was.
This team bounced you out the playoffs. This team had you home early. This team had you gritting your teeth and struggling, and they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. And for the most part, the engine that makes their car go is Trey.
Yes.
Yeah, Grimes came in and defended him like he ain't had no respect for him.
That's a
Like
fact.
yo, dude, I belong here just like you do. I stand up to pee. I put my shoes on one sock at a time. Like he came in and he came in like that. Like yo, there's no fear here. So because of that, you eliminate any option other than starting for Kemba. So now Kemba becomes Theo Pinson for a little while, right? And now you put these young boys in, and I'm telling you, mark my words, if that lineup has a respectable showing tomorrow night, it's just another shovel making the grave a little bit deeper.
Yeah. Damn. Remy, you gonna follow that one up?
And I agree with the premise that Mike Ray just lined up. It's either all or nothing. I personally think that he's been made the scapegoat. I think them doing this is more Tom Thibodeau's inability to effectively manage and coach his talent and the players and their skill sets that he has. I think it's more of his inability to do that versus being Kemba Walker being ineffective. He's not using him properly. He's not coaching him properly. He's not encouraging him properly. He's not motivating him properly. He's not managing his skill set properly. So at the end of the day, what Mike Ray said is right. It's either all or nothing. And the fact of the matter is, the fact that they had to make an announcement like this, like we have to announce this big change. We have to announce that we're not only taking him out of the road, taking him off the starting lineup. We're going to put him in street clothes and send him home, basically. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I got a perennial all-star player that could put up, he's averaging like 11, 12 points a game. Yes. It's not like he's doing 2-3 points a game. He could be in the teens if he's coached right. That extra 5 or 6 points a game that you can get out of him if he's coached right can be the difference in our record right now, having 3 more wins versus 3 more losses. And I think it just screams Thibodeau's inability to manage his talent, his players, and their skill sets effectively. Because you have a healthy Kemba Walker that's playing at the guard and that's more motivated probably than ever before in his entire career. And you're managing him so poorly that you have to use him as a scapegoat and pull him off of your entire lineup, which you can't even figure out how to go deep into that lineup. You go 13 deep and you lose the game. You go past 9 deep, you lose the game. Once you start going 13 deep, you lost the game because now that's too much for you to manage. So at the end of the day, it's Thibodeau's inability to manage his talent. Period, point blank. But I agree with Mike Ray said. It's either all or nothing. And the nothing screams at what Thibodeau just did to Kemba Walker in New York City.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree with both of you guys, but I definitely agree with you, Remy. Like 2 things that this move did. One, it killed his trade value. Any thoughts of packaging him to bring somebody like a Dame Lillard back is down to tubes right now. After 20 games, you can him, and then you making him seem like he was the only one not playing defense. He wasn't fitting on offense because they have Julius Randle bringing the ball up the court. You know what I mean? It was one play again where Julius Randle, he had the opportunity to grab the ball and inbound it. He sat there, looked at the ball like it was a foreign object, looked back at the guard, and then the guard went to inbound the ball to him. He brought the ball up, did some old wild nonsense, and turned the ball over. Yeah, I was livid
I know the
after I
exact play you're talking about. Exactly what
you
you're
know what I
talking
mean?
about. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, this dude is like, he's really feeling himself, and he's reading his headline clippings and everything, and it's going to his head because he could have let the point guard bring the ball up, but he chose to bring the ball up, chose to try to initiate the offense. He was having a bad night, and he still was trying to force the issue. But I do agree that I don't think that Thibodeau does well dealing with this much talent and managing minutes. He's used to a certain style of play, playing guys like Derrick Rose and running them into the ground. He's used to that one superstar player that he can ride until the sun sets. You know what I mean? And I think that he's not used to dealing with this much talent, and especially young talent that can actually come in and contribute right away. So I do agree with Remy in that regard. But I also agree with Mike. Like, it's either all or nothing with Kemba, because the way that they were utilizing him was, okay, run up the court, go park yourself somewhere in the corner like they did with Elfrid Payton. But Kemba Walker isn't a spot-up shooter. He needs to have the ball in his hand to be effective. He needs to run the offense. He's a scoring guard, yes. But in order to get the best out of him, you got to let him be free and play his game. And I don't think that it worked well with the way that Tibbs is running this offense through Julius Randle.
No, he gave more life, love, and power to encouraging Julius Randle to continue to be a supersized Russell Westbrook. He empowered him to keep being dribble, 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 dribble. Everybody watch me dribble, 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 and then bad shot with 2 seconds left on the shot clock.
Yeah.
That's basically, instead of sitting his ass where he needs to be sat somewhere below the free throw line,
Yes.
and letting his playmakers and his point guards make the plays on the basketball court. He wants to watch supersized Russ dribble, 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 shoot the ball. It don't make no sense, bro. And honestly, my heart hurts for Kemba, because this was one of the things I was most excited for, was Kemba coming home.
Yeah,
the glow on his face, bro.
Yeah.
I started having like envisions of what he did in the Sweet 16 back when he was with when he was in college.
UConn, yep.
And my heart hurts for him, bro. That he was so excited to be a Knick and be playing at the Garden. And I mean, I hope this does get turned around, but I didn't even think about the trade value thing, bro. That was such a stupid move on their part to make this announcement. You're right.
They killed every bit of his trade value now. Like, you can't move him unless we take him back a bad contract with him, because he's only making $10 million this year, but nobody's gonna take him at all. At all. So what do y'all think about Alec Burke now being the starting point guard? And by the way, y'all know who Alec Burke's mentor is, correct?
No.
Chauncey Billups. They both went to Colorado.
Yeah,
okay. Chauncey Billups is his mentor, and he was trying to patent his game after Chauncey. So if you see a little bit of Billups, it's because Billups is his mentor, and
that makes a lot of sense. That makes a whole lot of sense, because you see a lot of Chauncey, and especially not really the way he set, like when he's running the point, the way he sets things up.
Yes.
Sort of like the way he turns his body to put his lead hand behind him.
Yes.
It's just so that he can't get ripped. It's just like Chauncey. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yes, man. He's a Colorado alumni. Chauncey Billups was his guy, and he looked up to him, and he patented his game. He was supposed to be a point guard coming out of college. They converted him to a shooting guard in Utah. It didn't really work out in Utah, and he found a new life here, man. You know what I mean? Because I think they bounced him around. I forgot where else he played, but he ended up here, and it seems like it's paying dividends for the Knicks, man. And I hope that this experiment works long term, because like you said, Mike, they couldn't just put Trae Young on him and leave him in the corner somewhere just to make sure he doesn't get the ball. Trae Young had to play some defense.
And who was he going to play defense against?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, at that point, like, I was watching when it came time to play his man straight up.
Yeah.
Quickly was going right by Trae Young.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The one or two times where he ended up rotated off on RJ was mouse in the house. Now RJ didn't abuse him like he should have. But and I'm not knocking Trey. You know what I'm saying? Trey is who Trey is. When Trey get rolling, Trey get rolling. But here's the problem. Normally Trey get rolling and teams get shook. Wasn't nobody shook. And there was no excuses. They played the night before in Memphis, won by 30. We played the night before in the Garden, lost by 30. They had to get on a plane and come home. We had to get on a plane and come there. So there's no. You want to tell me you got 4 or 5 players out? You know what? We got 4 or 5 players out too. If you give me D Rose with the way that game played, we banged them by 25.
Yes, sir.
You know and
we definitely got a call on the line. Bars and Hoops Radio, Knicks Talk Nation Radio. Who's this? Hello? Okay, caller, are you there? I guess not.
Hello?
Yep. Hello?
You. Yes,
what's going on?
You, man. You.
What's going on,
it's
gentlemen?
Dave and Kurt.
What's going on, Kurt? How's everything? What's going on? How y'all liking the show so far, man? What's your thoughts on the shakeup in New York, man?
I'm a little shocked by it.
Oh, yeah? Talk about it, Coach.
I didn't think that would happen this quick. But I'm not sure what they're trying to do.
So you don't think it's gonna work?
I wouldn't. I would have took Fournier out the start lineup.
Wow.
Put him with the second unit. That's what I would have done.
Wow. Yeah, I guess you could substitute add some shooting to that second lineup. I can see that.
Right.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. So you don't think Burks being implemented into the starting lineup is going to help the team?
He's not a point guard, man.
He's not?
No, he's not a point guard.
Yeah.
They
got to share the pill.
Say it again?
They got to share the rock.
They got to share the rock, but they got to get the ball out of Julius Randle's hands. He's your worst decision maker. I don't think he should have the ball. They shouldn't be running the offense through their worst decision maker because he turns the ball over.
He leads the team in assists, though.
But he also leads them in turnovers.
Yeah.
So most guys that have the ball will lead your team in turnovers.
Nah, but Dave, you gotta admit, he dribbles. He dribbles himself into double teams at times. He waits too long to pass out of double teams, and he takes a lot of bad shots. The reason why he's struggling this year is because all of those he took these same shots last year, but they was going in. This year,
I concur.
They're not falling, and that's why he looks bad.
And there's no backup plan. His backup plan is oh shit.
Exactly, no backup plan, and he's gonna force that shot regardless because he was used to making it. And if you look at him at all of the videos that he had over the summer, all you seen him practicing was bad shot after bad shot in open rec against other NBA players. You didn't see him working on any type of low post game, nothing like where he could take back his man down to the basket. You didn't see him working on any of that. So he practiced this style of play that he's having right now, and this year is just not falling for him. So it looks even worse now. But gentlemen, what do you think about that? And what do you think? Do you think that the Knicks are gonna make a move by the trade deadline now that they sat Kemba down?
I personally, I think they need to get more Kemba involved.
Yeah,
run more pick and roll because he's a mid range game guy.
Yes, spoken like
now he don't have the speed to ball, but they need to get him more involved with the ball.
So, do y'all think his career is over?
I thought his career was winding down in Boston. I don't
they let him go.
Yeah, I don't think he got much left.
And they claimed him from there.
He got way too much left. Thibodeau don't know how to manage him, period.
He
just said simple pick and roll. You put him in a simple pick and roll, you're gonna get 5-6 points a game out of more out of him.
Absolutely.
You want a simple pick and roll 10, 12 more times a game, you will get 4 more points, 5 more points out of Kemba Walker.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that saves him is if they make a shake up at the coaching staff, and if they let him make such a big decision like this, I don't see that shake up happening. I don't think that sit down with Leon Rose happened. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think this move showed Thibodeau's running the show, and he's
Yeah.
empowered to make whatever moves he wants to make.
And rightly so. I mean, you got to also look at it like this. Optics mean everything. Like, you can't just get rid of a coach that brought you to the playoffs for the first time in 9 years.
He's coach of the year still.
Coach of the year. You can't, and he's a former New York Knicks guy, so it'll look bad on the organization around the league. Remember, they just started to clean up their reputation, where people are actually starting to look at the Knicks now as a respectable place culture-wise. So you don't want to make a move like getting rid of a guy like Tibbs now. I mean, yes, he has his faults, but he comes from a certain cloth when it comes to coaching. So it's sad that Kemba had to be the sacrificial lamb for Tibbs to kind of salvage the season after 20 games. But I guess it was a move that needed to be done. The only thing that I hate about this move is that it just kills his trade value. The thing that we had a lot of pieces that we could add to get the point guard that we want. And what we've been talking about.
How much is he making?
He's making $10 million.
Oh, that's tradable.
It's tradable, but you also want to, you want to trade him, but you don't want to add none of your young stars to it now. You wanted him to be able to make up a deal like, okay, you know what, we can live with Kemba. They're gonna want him. They're gonna want a Grimes now. They're gonna want a McBride now. They're gonna want a Quickly now in any deal to take him off of our hands. You know what I mean? So
true.
It remains to be seen what happens, but I just hate the fact that they killed his trade value.
But listen, we also got to put this in the proper context.
Let's go, Mike.
Tibbs didn't do this after game 44. He didn't do this after game 61.
That's a fact.
He did this basically after game 19.
Yes.
Since you figure he played game 19 and rested game 20.
That's a fact.
Game 20, effectively a quarter of the way through the season. Yes. Every sport, you break a season down into segments. Yes. Football, they do it, every 4 games.
Okay.
Basketball, you do it about every 20 games.
Absolutely.
So in the first quarter of the season, we had to set you down. You're still talking about Derrick Rose, who's that is, if it's not the knee, it's the ankle. If it ain't the ankle, it's the quad. You know what I'm saying? So it's just because Kemba gonna be, keeping the chair warm and drinking up all the Gatorade for the next 15 games or so. You know what I'm saying? Just because he gonna have his street clothes on under his tearaways so he can just leave after the game, right? It means very little in the grand scheme of things, because we could very well be back to Kemba running the point, barring 1 or 2 simple injuries. Derrick Rose is injury prone. Alec Burks is injury prone. So in a minute, you effectively may very well go from 3 point guards on your roster to 1 healthy one and 2 rookies. So there will always be a place for Kemba until they decide to buy Kemba out. Because I agree, Kemba has no true trade value right now. But again, it don't take nothing for someone to get hurt who's probably already hurt, and bang, Kemba's back in here. Kemba run off that third quarter against the Suns. Kemba was cooking.
Yes,
right. So you string together another couple of quarters like that, and you good money. So this is just a quarter. You know what I'm saying? I know it hurts for some people. I mean, it is what it is. It's the quarter. Now listen, let's look at this from the other way around. This is a decision that in some way, shape, or forms had to be made. If Tibbs would have waited till game 55, lost a good 10 or 12 games because he should have made that move earlier, he will have a fleet of U-Haul trucks outside of his place to get him up out of town. Right? So it could hurt a lot. It could hurt a lot, or it could hurt a little. So take the hurt of a little, and let's see how this rolls. And in terms of trade value, I'm going to tell you straight up, if this move ends up being lightning in a bottle, Because if they beat New Jersey or Brooklyn tomorrow, there's no reason why they can't run off 3, 4 more in a row. I'm not scared. I'm not scared by Chicago. Michael Porter Jr. is supposed to be gone for the season, and so I'm not scared of Denver on Saturday. What in the world am I supposed to think of San Antonio in San Antonio? It's still a pop team, but still. So in reality, if they beat New Jersey, because they'll always be New Jersey to me. They beat New Jersey, they could go on a quick little run. And what is the greatest deodorant in life? Victory.
Yes, sir.
Victory is the greatest deal. It got Degree, it got Band, Right Guard, got them all beat. Mom. So those of y'all who got old school grandparents who remember baking soda and water and a paste underneath your arms, it beats all of them. Beats all of them.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Dave. What you was gonna say, Dave?
I wanted to know what was your grade, Thibodeau, at this point of the season, like a quarterly scorecard.
And you know what? I'm glad you asked that, because that was my next question was going to be: is our issue 20 games in our talent or our coaching? Because I told you last week, because I don't want to be the guy. I don't want to be the guy talking about the job of the coach of the year while he's still coach of the year. I don't want to be that fan. But like Dave just said, we gotta be realistic and grade him. Is our problem our coaching or our talent?
It's both.
I give him a D.
Wow. I give him a
D for
C.
coaching?
Yeah,
Yep.
D for coaching. I give him a C minus.
It looks like he's doing the same as he did the same thing from last year.
And
just
look,
different talent.
Yeah, and look at Monty Williams. He rolled right in town, slapped him around, gave him a handshake like, I should have got that award last year, but hey, it's all right. Yeah, because they slapped New York around, they slapped Brooklyn around. Mike, what grade would you give him?
Oh man. Well, I think the problem is twofold. I think it's part player, part coach. I think that, and so because of that, I can't lay a D minus on the coach, because there's some player involvement here, right? So I still have a problem with Mitch. I mean, Steele's girl sits better screens than Mitch, right? So because of that, you know what I'm saying, I have to hold players responsible. So I would put a grade on Tibbs right now at about a C, maybe a C plus, because he has shown some willingness, even though it's by requirement, not by design.
Yeah.
But he has. I mean, you're looking at Grimes getting burned. You're looking at Sims getting burned. I mean, yeah, he's in a position where he doesn't have any choice. But you're talking about Tibbs. He'll still find a way, even when it don't make no sense. So the fact that he's letting these kids get some run. I watched his press conference today. You know what I'm saying? He mentioned how much he liked the energy that them kids bring. Pay attention that they sent Deuce McBride to the G League.
Yes.
And pay attention to that.
Yeah,
the last time he went to the G League, he missed a triple-double by 1 assist.
Yeah. And he went off. He went off today too.
Was that him? Was that him catching that dunk you sent me a picture of?
It was him that he caught. He put a helmet on somebody today in G League. So he was upset that he didn't get any burn the other day. So he taking it out on those G League kids. But
what you're gonna look at is you're gonna look up in a minute and you're gonna see him getting some minutes, because sending him down there is to get him primed and ready.
Yeah.
Get primed and ready, son, because we got some ball for you. And I also think that's frightening when you think that maybe just Derrick Rose's ankle injury is going to be a 6 to 8 game loss, which means that you're going to have to bring that boy up here. So, but no, all things aside, I give Tibbs a C. Tibbs get a C from me.
Absolutely. What would you give him, Dave? You asked a question. I know we had this conversation the other day, but what would you give him?
I'll give him about a C minus.
Coach, what about you, Coach?
About the same. About the same, because it has to go with whatever the moves that he made and the players that he got, because their center position is not terrible, but it's lacking.
But they
It's
did
lacking.
they did do well against Atlanta the other day because Clint Capella, he had a decent game. Trae Young, he had his 31 points, but they altered a lot of shots and they made it very difficult for Atlanta to score in the paint.
That's true. And they didn't have Mitch during the playoffs last year.
No, looked like a totally different team with him there.
Right, it is.
Yo, there's a play, right? There's a play in the game, and I'm sitting right under the basket, right?
Yes.
So there's a play. They're all jockeying for position. So Capella tried to do a come from around the back swim move to sweep Mitch out of his box out position.
Yeah.
And when he went to do the swim move and Mitch didn't budge, there was this look on Capella. And I remember I'm sitting right behind I'm sitting angled to the basket. I'm looking at his face.
Yeah.
Yo, he turned and looked at Mitch like, where this nigga came from? Like you weighed 116 pounds with 2 pairs of socks on last time. I can't even move you. Yeah. And that's when I was like, yeah,
them too.
He does. And that's why I was so surprised. I'm like, look how big Mitch looks in comparison to Capella and these other guys.
Right.
Shoulders, bro. Them shoulders.
Yeah, broad shoulders. Even when Jericho Sims got in the game, I was like, damn,
right.
This is a rookie.
I'm guessing Capella's about 6'9" or 6'10".
They made him look that size. They made him look like a power forward that was eating against them last year, this season.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was pretty shocking the way that they handled Atlanta, I must admit. I mean,
and at the end of the day, our expectations were higher than basically a 500 ball team.
Yeah, I said 50 wins in the beginning of the season. I don't know about that.
You know what I mean? I think this is we have better than a 500. We're essentially 500, 11-9. We're essentially a 500 team.
We should be at least 11-5 right now because we lost those 2 games to Atlanta was unacceptable. That loss to Cleveland, even though they're playing well, that was they should have never lost those games.
14-5, 13-6.
Yeah.
We should have 3.
So they got a better record now than last year?
Yes, they are. Yeah, you're right. Last year, what helped us last year was that win streak.
Right.
That win streak helped us out last year. That's what kind of pushed us over the hump. But you are absolutely right. You and Mike, yep. The record is better than what it was last year. But us New Yorkers, you know what that is, man. This is why guys can't come here and play because we put a lot of pressure on our players to produce, man. And again, man, I just feel bad that Kemba Walker came back here and it's not working out for him, you know? It's like, damn.
That is tough, yeah.
Yeah, man. It's just like Marbury, man. Marbury came here to try to save this city. He did well when he came, but, politics, man, ended up derailing his career here as well, so.
D'Antonio ruined his.
D'Antonio, yeah. So,
I never liked D'Antonio.
Yeah, I don't know. They need to take the D out of his name. You know what I mean? This is why he left Brooklyn as well. You know what I mean? So let's fast forward to tomorrow's game, man. Realistic expectations for tomorrow's game, man. How do you guys think the Knicks are going to fare against the Nets at Barclays Center tomorrow? I'm ready to go to that game. I need some tickets, by the way, man. So, Dave, what's up, Dave? You might have to get some tickets, man. I think that, Mike, you in town or you still in the A?
No, I'm still in the A.
Oh, man. Remy?
I'll make a call.
Yeah, man. Mike, Dave, you can make that happen, man. We might need some tickets for tomorrow's game, man.
I am down.
Yeah, huh? We might need 2 tickets over here, Dave.
I need one more for Shorty, though. Just one more.
Oh, okay. Well, we might need 3 tickets. I mean, hey, I don't want to be the spare wheel.
She listened. She listened, and I had to say it. I had to mention it. I had to add her.
That's right. That's right. You gotta lay down with her, bro. You gotta lay down with her, bro. Do what you gotta do. Say what you gotta say.
I had to throw the at.
All right, Dave, let me know, man. All right, fellas.
Y'all be safe, man.
All right, yep. Let's go, Dave. Make it happen, man. We need some tickets for that game tomorrow, man, because I'm ready to be in the building. I might have to make an executive decision and not scream tomorrow because I need to be on the air on Friday and Sunday as well. So, I might take it easy on on Tuesday if we can. You know what I mean? But what's the realistic expectation, man? You think we can pull this one out, Remy?
I don't see why not.
Let's go.
Like, you know, at the end of the day, I think Mike Ray put it perfectly. If we could pull out this Brooklyn win tomorrow, the next couple of games, I feel really good about. I think this sets the tone. This game right here, win or lose, will set the tone for the next 5 to 6 games that they got coming up. And like, I think, Chicago, Denver, San Antonio, Indiana, Toronto, Milwaukee. So I think the tone, the win or lose. Let me backtrack. Win or lose. Hopefully it's a win, but win or lose. The way Thibodeau coaches, the energy they play with, and the production they get out of that better unit that comes off the bench is going to tell us a lot about what we're going to see in the next 5 or 6 games. But I feel good about us winning this game.
What about you, Mike? Well, you said it.
I feel. First of all, you got to take into consideration. I don't know if anybody's watched any Brooklyn games, but I'm likening Brooklyn right now to if you ever went out on a date. I know all you dudes are committed men. I know my girl ain't listening, so I can be a little frivolous in my talk. I can talk a little reckless here because I know she ain't listening, right?
Yo, Mike, you ain't shit for that.
I know you dudes are good family men, so I can be a little reckless here. But if you ever went out on a date with a chick and you know the chick might have been feeling you, so she was all into the date, liked the restaurant, liked the decor, talking to the waiter, and you just sitting there like, God, I wish this night would end. Would she please go home? Could she break a heel and have to leave early? You'll catch could she get a phone call that her mother caught the chicken pox or something? Like you sitting there like that. That is Harden and Durant. Harden looks like he do not want to be there for whatever reason. Harden's playing like somebody sold him a bill of goods. And I know it's a Kyrie issue. So with that being said, and the fact that Joe Harris is gone for a month.
Yeah.
Right? Joe Harris having ankle surgery.
Yeah, it's out. It's a wrap for him.
I like the Knicks' chances tomorrow to pull that one out. Absolutely. I really do. I'm talking like, yo, I could see it being, 3. I mean, I don't see them blowing Brooklyn out, but I could see them pulling it off. I really can. I feel, and again, if they pull that off, Chicago don't scare me. Yeah. Denver don't scare Denver. No Michael Porter. Yeah. And what's my other man who blew his knee out last year?
Jamal Murray.
Ain't got him either. Yeah. Right? So it's neither one of them. It's just Joker. Right? A couple other dudes they got over there, but I like that. Chicago don't scare me. You really don't supposed to think I'm supposed to. Although I would like DeJounte Murray I like him on my squad. Yes. But San Antonio don't scare me. Indiana don't put no fear in my heart. And to be fair with you, we should be 2-0 against Milwaukee this year. Absolutely. So for all intents and purposes, they win tomorrow. Yo, I could see them going on a good 5 to 7 game run. But again, let's not forget, I don't want them to peak now. No early peaks. Mid-season peak, yes. Early peak, no. Early peak under Tibbs is a no-no. So you're going to get to the playoffs with nothing in the tank. Mid to late season peak, I could roll with that with a Tibbs coach.
No question.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mike. Right, the way Harden looks, like he looked like he got booked right in the heart of South Side. Like he looked like he got booked and clipped right in the heart of South Side and got sent home without his sneakers on. Like that's how he looked, bro. Right now, he looked like he don't want to be there. He looked like somebody took his sneakers and made him go to school the next day without him on. Like matter of fact, like somebody took his sneakers and he had to go to school the next day and sit next to the dude wearing them. That's the way he look right now, bro. Like he looking hard, like he one of these.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? The lopsided hands he's up, bro. But That's a good point, Mike. Right? That's a really good point. I didn't even think about that.
I do think that they are for the taking tomorrow. I anticipate Obi having a big game because a lot of his family is probably going to be out there in Brooklyn. A lot of his friends, he's going to play big tomorrow. I expect KD to have a big game, but like Mike said, it's something going on in Brooklyn. Harden doesn't look the same. I think the rule changes have also slowed his game down. Like people aren't really talking about that as much as they should. Him and Trae Young, because as you can see, Trae Young didn't get a lot of those bailout calls that he got during the playoffs and through the regular season last year on Saturday as well. But I do think that the Knicks are going to come pumped up to play. I think that, like Mike said, sending a guy like McBride to the G League every now and then and bringing him back up is kind of priming him, getting primed and ready for the big lights and big stage on the Garden floor for the Knicks. And I hope that quickly can do what he continues to do off the bench, and also Alec Burke can really make James Harden work tomorrow on the defensive end. I think that those are probably like the keys to victory, man. Making sure that James Harden works on defense, because you're not going to be able to do anything with KD. But just make Harden work on defense, and hopefully RJ can break out of his slump and have a big game tomorrow as well. I think we'll be all right, because I don't anticipate Randall doing much. I think he's going to try to overdo it just like he did against the Lakers, and it's going to take a total team effort from everybody else to kind of make up for his deficiencies on the offensive end. But
I mean, if you go player by player and look at the matchup, if you take Durant out of the equation,
yeah,
all right, or you just figure Durant gonna get his, right, regardless, whatever that number is. He's like Steph. Whatever number they decide they want tonight is a number that they get. He want 42, he'll go get 40. He want 38, he'll get 30. He feeling good. He got some new piece of Instagram female sitting on the front row. He wants 65, he'll go get 65.
Absolutely, yeah.
But if you take that away and you size up the rest of the teams versus each other, it is quite favorable.
Yeah.
Quite favorable. LaMarcus Aldridge is not LaMarcus Aldridge.
He's
not the LaMarcus Aldridge. What's your man? Blake Griffin is beefing because he not getting no burn. Talking about he was on the phone calling. What's his man that used to be center with him and the Clippers and then
DeAndre. Yeah.
He on the phone with DeAndre, like DeAndre is the big man whisperer. You know what I'm saying? Why he ain't getting no run? Yo, remember, winning is the best deodorant. That's why KD keeps Brooklyn from stinking like garbage.
Absolutely.
Right. So if you size that up, if you look at our boys, first of all, Obi can outrun everybody down the floor, guards included. So Brooklyn not ready for that. They not. They don't have the horses for that. And with no Joe Harris to keep everybody honest, you're talking about a dude that's almost a 60% three-point shooter. In the three-point shots that he takes, I hate to do this to Kemba, you take the statistics. See, Rem got me back in the statistics again. I just want to say I really ain't feeling you for that, bro. You got me back in the statistics. The Knicks have the next to the last rated offense when Kemba's on the floor. When Kemba's off the floor, the Knicks have the 9th rated offense in efficiency in the league. They're the number 1 rated defense in the league for defensive percentages when Kemba's off the floor. So now we're going to put those numbers to the test. So with no Kemba, now you're talking about a Knicks team in percentages that's number 9 in offense and number 1 in defense. Why should I not think they have a chance to be more than competitive and win this thing?
Yeah.
It's your fault, Rem, because I don't usually do the numbers, man.
Mike, that's an interesting stat you just dropped.
Yeah, hell yeah, that was a bomb.
That's what they used to call me growing up, stats. Because let me tell you something, bro. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, bro. Them numbers don't ever lie. So when in doubt, rely on your knowledge of your numbers, bro. And that's an interesting stat right there. I can't even argue with that. That's
heavy. Those numbers.
Right. We're gonna see how true it is. We're gonna see how true it is, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that tomorrow, man, and hopefully Dave could come through with those tickets, Rem. So if he do, I'm gonna keep you posted on that, man. You can bring your friend with you. You know what I mean? I might be in the corner playing, third wheel, but I'm be at that game making some noise. You know what I mean?
I already got yelled at.
Hey, man. Hey, sorry tomorrow. You know what I mean? Yeah, so on that note, man, fellas, we come to the end of another show, man. Salute to you, brothers, for always showing up and showing out, man. Giving us credibility on this show, on this platform. Don't forget, every Monday, 10 to 11, Knicks Talk Nation Radio, featuring myself, Stills the Great, Jay Remy, Mike Ray. You know what I mean? But until next week, we say peace.
New York City, we back. The Big Apple, NY. The Knicks are back. Staten Mellow. This dedicated to my city, New York. Official kings in the court. Reach for the ball, a hard lesson gets taught. So bring your skills to the nearest playground. No clown around. Catch a helmet in a minute on a New York playground. The Big Apple's what they call it for short. And basketball is our sport. We play for keeps and never settle for short. So bring your game when you come to my town. We snatch a crowd. You get embarrassed on the court after you shook to the ground. You get respected when you prove to get down. So say the joke for the clowns. And NYC, we known to go a few rounds. This is a city where you're forced to go hard. You'll get booed out of Dodge and shown the door being the weakest on squads. Rucker Park and summer nights, they stay live. Brothers play for the pride and bragging rights on who's the king of NY. So grab the pill and prepare to go hard. Pick your 12-man squad. Orange and blue better believe we go hard. This for my city, New York City where it's gritty. Yeah. For my city, never pretty. New York City, sing it with me. Yeah. For my city, New York City where it's gritty. NYC, for my city, never pretty. Yeah. New York City, sing it with me.